Two people are walking down the same street, same age, same city. From behind, you would never tell them apart. But one of them is aging almost twice as fast as the other. And there's a way to see it right now. No test, no doctor, no needle. It is not their weight, it is not their face. It is the speed at which they walk. I know how that sounds, too simple to matter. But this has been measured in hundreds of thousands of people, and the pattern is so strong, so consistent, that doctors now treat the speed you walk as a vital sign, as real and as revealing as your blood pressure. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what your walking pace quietly reveals about your heart, your muscles, and your brain, and the one simple habit you can start today to shift it in your favor. Stay with me all the way to the end, because the part about your brain honestly stopped me in my tracks. Welcome back. Here is what almost nobody realizes about walking. It looks like a leg activity. It isn't. It's a full body activity wearing a disguise. To take one normal step, your brain has to fire a signal. Your heart has to pump. Your lungs have to deliver oxygen. Your muscles have to contract in the right order. Your inner ear has to hold you balanced. And your nervous system has to coordinate every piece of it in real time, while you think about absolutely none of it. So when any one of those systems starts to weaken, the heart, the lungs, the muscles, the brain, one of the very first places it quietly shows up is your walking speed. You slow down before you ever feel sick. Your body keeps a running scorecard, and your pace is the number written on it. That is why researchers gave it a name that surprised even them. The sixth vital sign, right beside heart rate, blood pressure, temperature, breathing, and oxygen. One number that hints at how the whole machine is running. Now let me show you why doctors take this so seriously. Because this is not a wellness slogan. This is hard data. In January 2011, a major study appeared in JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association, one of the most trusted medical journals in the world. A team led by Dr. Stephanie Studensky pooled together 9 separate studies and tracked the walking speed of more than 34,000 adults, age 65 and up. Then they followed them for years, some for up to 2 decades. The finding was striking. Across every single study, walking speed lined up with how well people were aging and how likely they were to still be thriving years later. And the gap was not small. Look at people at the same age, 75. Those who walked at a brisk, confident pace had dramatically better long-term outcomes than those who walked slowly. Same age, same starting line. The clearest difference between them was how they moved down a hallway. Here is the detail that made physicians sit up. Predicting a person's health future using just their age, their sex, and their walking speed turned out to be about as informative as using their chronic illnesses, their smoking history, their blood pressure, and their body weight, all combined. One quiet measurement carried as much signal as an entire checkup. So the obvious question, what's fast and what's slow? Let me translate the science into something you can actually feel. Here's a reference point most Americans have walked past 1,000 times without noticing. The walk signal at a crosswalk is timed assuming people move at roughly 3.5 feet per second. That is the pace the entire country was built around. In the research, a slow, unhurried stroll, think window shopping pace, sits at the low end, where risk tends to climb. A healthy pace looks more like 2.5 to 3 miles an hour, moving with purpose, like you are a little bit late but not running. That walking with purpose zone is the sweet spot the studies keep pointing to. But before anyone panics, and I can feel some of you already timing yourselves across the room, hear me clearly. One slow walk on a tired day means nothing. This is about your usual pace, your normal cruising speed, tracked over time. And a slower pace is never a verdict. It is a signal to get curious and to ask why. Now you might be thinking, this is about older people. I'm in my 30s, my 40s. This doesn't apply to me yet. That is exactly the assumption a group of researchers set out to test. And what they found should get every one of us paying attention. In October 2019, a study from Duke University, published in JAMA Network Open and led by Dr. Line Rasmussen, did something different. Instead of studying the elderly, they studied people who were all exactly 45 years old, nearly 1,000 of them, followed since birth in New Zealand, in one of the most detailed human studies ever run. They measured everyone's walking speed at 45, then they scanned their brains, and the slower walkers, at just 45, already showed measurable differences. On average, a smaller brain, a thinner cortex, the outer layer that handles thinking and memory, and more of what are called white matter changes, small markers linked to aging blood vessels in the brain. The slower walkers weren't only aging faster in their legs, their lungs, their teeth, their immune systems, the whole body was, on average, further along. At 45, long before anyone would call them old. And then came the part that genuinely gave me chills. The researchers could largely predict who would become the slower walkers at 45 by looking at simple tests those same people took when they were 3 years old. Age 3. Your pace in midlife appears to carry an echo that reaches back further than you can even remember. And the brain link runs deeper still. Think about what walking briskly actually demands. You plan, you balance, you coordinate, you read your surroundings, all at once, all automatically. That is why researchers found something powerful. When a slowing walk shows up alongside a slipping memory, the two together point to cognitive risk, far more clearly than either one on its own. The National Institute on Aging highlighted work showing that adding a simple walking speed check to memory screening helped flag concerns that the memory test alone might have missed. This is the whole theme in one line. Your walking speed matters not because of your legs, but because it is a window, a fast, painless, no-cost window into your heart, your lungs, your muscles, and your brain, all at the same moment. No single blood test does that. Now the question that matters most. Everything so far shows that walking speed reflects health. But is it just a mirror? Or can walking faster actually make you healthier? For years, no one could separate the two. Until 2022, researchers at the University of Leicester, led by Professor Tom Yates, used the UK Biobank, data from over 400,000 people, and they used genetics to untangle cause from coincidence. What they found was that a faster walking pace, on its own, was linked to longer telomeres. Telomeres are the protective caps on the ends of your chromosomes. Picture the little plastic tips on the ends of your shoelaces that stop them from fraying. Every time a cell divides, those caps get a little shorter. Shorter telomeres are one of the clearest biological markers of aging, and the finding was remarkable. In their analysis, a lifetime of brisk walking was associated with the equivalent of being around 16 years younger in biological age by midlife. And the effect appeared to run in one direction, faster walking pointing toward younger biology rather than the reverse. The same group had already shown, in that huge dataset, an association between brisk walking and substantially greater life expectancy compared with slow walking. And the amount of walking tied to real benefit? As little as 10 minutes a day at a brisk pace. Not an hour, not a gym membership, 10 purposeful minutes. So let me pull this together, not to scare you, but to hand you something you can use tonight. Your walking speed is one of the most honest signals your body offers, and it costs nothing to notice. If your usual, comfortable pace has been quietly slowing over the past few years and you are not injured, that is not something to shrug off and not something to panic over. It is a reason to check in with your doctor. Sometimes the cause is simple and fixable: weaker muscles, low activity, a vitamin gap, or something worth catching early. The gift of this signal is that it often appears before a problem becomes a crisis, while there is still plenty of time to act. And here is the genuinely hopeful part. Unlike your age, unlike your genes, your walking speed is trainable. Muscle strength responds to work at any age. Balance sharpens with practice. Fitness rebuilds, which makes this one of the very few vital signs you have real power over. So here is the challenge I promised you. For the next 2 weeks, take 10 minutes a day and walk with intention. Not a stroll, a pace where you are breathing a little harder, where you could still talk but could not quite sing. That's the brisk zone. Walking to your car? Pick it up. On a phone call, walk while you talk. Do it daily, and you are directly training the exact systems, heart, lungs, muscles, brain, that your walking speed is quietly measuring. You are not just walking faster, you are building the body that walks faster. We spend so much chasing our health. Supplements, gadgets, complicated routines, and this whole time, one of the most powerful signals and one of the simplest tools has been hiding inside the most ordinary thing we do, the way we cross a room. So the next time you are walking across that parking lot, remember what your body already knows, and now, so do you. If this shifted the way you think about that everyday walk, share it with someone you care about, a parent, a partner, a friend. This is the kind of thing families should talk about before it ever becomes a worry, not after. And if you want more science you can actually use to age slower and live better, it is all waiting in the playlist. Take care of yourself. I will see you in the next one.